Good morning, everybody. Hope you had a great weekend. It was a beautiful summer weekend here, 94, 95, hot with humidity given the recent storms, but it is, it's summer, and that's what we expect around here. Supposed to, again, in the forecast after today, we're supposed to go below 90 and have a shot at some rain Tuesday and Wednesday, so we will see what happens. But fun time of the year. Picnics, barbecues. Good time to be alive. Today is Monday. It's the start of the new month. The stock market held up pretty well on Friday, all things considered. China's CAC manufacturing index was at 47.8. That's well below 50. That actually shows economic contraction. We'll see how they react to that. China had a bunch of articles out over the weekend about how transparent their economy was. They jumped on Citadel. Citadel can't trade there because Citadel had the audacity to short. So if you're going to do business in China, you're going to play by their rules and you're going to do what they say to do, or you won't do business with them. And if you have to be a Chinese, the consequences of not following what the government tells you to do would be a lot more severe than that. So the Chinese economy perhaps slowing. Hard to say when you look at it, but there's hints out there like cargo container rates fell 23%. Australian mine that was valued at $630 million sold for $1. Copper is low again. So the commodity market continues to contract. Crude oil lost 20% of its price in the month of July. So there's economic pressures everywhere. Out of Europe, Germany's manufacturing PMI number was 0.2% higher than expected. It kept the EU's manufacturing positive, but Italy's number was better than expected, but Great Britain's and Spain's numbers were lower than forecast. So again, the economic news out of Europe, when you get past Germany, becomes questionable. So in the United States today, we have personal income up 0.3. Personal spending, which will be the market's focus, plus 0.2. Supposedly our economy is 70% driven by personal consumption, the retail account. PCE could come in higher than forecast. It's the Fed's favorite inflation measurement, and inflation does move the markets these days. The Fed wants inflation to be increasing, and they want jobs to be increasing. And if they get both of that, then they can raise interest rates. And it's hard to make a case that inflation is increasing with a collapse in commodity prices. PMI manufacturing, flash PMI at 53.8. No one pays any attention to this in the United States. They do pay attention to the ISM manufacturing, and that's going to be our second. The first news focus will be personal spending. Second will be ISM, and it's at 53.7. Hard to say how that comes in. They screw with their numbers as much as our federal government does, and they try to report them as high as they can. Construction spending, no one will pay any attention to it, plus 0.6. And the third, auto and truck sales at 17.2. And that's a strong number. Anything over 16 million units per year is good for the automobile industry. 17.2 is even better. So personal spending, number one. ISM manufacturing, number 2, and auto and truck sales, number 3, will be the market's focus. The direction of the E-mini for treasuries will also be a factor, and this news, if as forecast, would be supportive for the E-mini, which has come off a little bit. Asia markets were off. The FTSE was pretty close to unchanged, and the DAX and CAC were higher out of Europe. So here we find ourselves. We've got resistance really at 16 to 20. So you can see right here that 20 is a where resistance is right now, and it's our selling failure to take it out. We're looking at a pretty strong P here. You can see that volume is increasing, so I think we have time to get short. On the buy side, we've got this B period low at 10.5. We've got an E period low at 12.5. We've got 11.5. So 12 is pretty good support. So the first buy is 9 to 13. This can be swung by the news, and then 1 to 5. So I think the E-mini's reaction to this morning's news, and if this news comes in forecast, if the news comes in as forecast, we could see a little pullback in treasuries, and then 23 to 27 will be sell 2. So it is Monday morning. Everybody kind of comes in and looks at each other. What are we going to do? That's pretty typical. It sometimes takes a couple of hours for the market to shake out without news, but we have news this morning that will speed the process. Last news, the auto and truck numbers will be out by noon. ISM manufacturing will be out at 10 Eastern, and then personal spending will be at 8:30 Eastern. Based on the economics, longer term, I still like treasuries. I just don't see how the Fed's going to be able to raise interest rates. They want to, but when you look at when it comes to servicing the debt, they can raise interest rates, but they can't raise them by much. Okay, resistance is at 20. So selling failure to take out 20, 24. Then 31 to 03. Strong market. The knob spread's holding in very well down to this morning's news. We'll give it a little room, 1 to 5. This one gets pretty big swings. And then we'll be back to, got this high over here at 29. We've got this breakout from 22, so 21 to 25 for buy 2. And I think the volatility in the bond is coming off a little bit. We would get 2 to 3 point swings. Now we're getting 1 to 2 point swings. So I think the numbers are coming in a little on this contract. Gold again doesn't do much. Several articles out. Hedge funds are now net short gold, and the article was headlined, is the selling in gold about to end because the hedge funds have finally joined it. So we've got 1100 even, 1105 is resistance, and we've had 75 to 80 as support, and here we are at 89. Market's trying to trade lower. You want to do a split on London. Try to do a split on London. There you go. You see that we're dealing with a B and perhaps a new distribution down starting in W. So we've got this 86, 87 area. So 86, 84 by 1. And again, the trade has been to buy against 80 and to sell against 1100. So this is fairly aggressive. Then buy 2 will be 81 to 79. On the sell side, 95, 97, sell 1, 99 to 01, sell 2. And if the news comes in as forecast, it should take gold lower this morning. Strong economy, less need to print money, less need for gold. Looking at the euro, As your London split, definitely a B. So yeah, if the seller's at 110, the buyer's probably at 109, right down here, and that's where we find ourselves. So we're at 55. So first, the 75 to 110 area is going to be our sell zone. On the buy zone, we'll make 109 even, 109 and a quarter. And we'll just kind of I'd leave it at that. It's just the Greek stock market opened and was heavily sold, as you'd expect it to be. You've been trapped. You haven't been able to sell it. You're scared out of your minds. So those that are desperate for money or have to protect what they have will come in and sell, with the Greek banks taking the biggest hits, which should be expected too because of the problems with the Greek financial system. It's totally dependent upon cash injections on a regular basis from the European Central Bank, the EU. And that's not a good place to be. Okay, crude is lower. You can see right here this 46.75 area, the spill from J up here, 47. Going to be our first sell. And 47 and a quarter, 50, our second sell. On the buy side, 45.75. I think we're, like for the last couple of weeks, we're headed for stops below 45. That's been my trading target. And no reason to think we won't get there. Could get there today. So 75 to the buck, sell 1. 25 to 50, sell 2. 46 stops below 46, buy 1. 45.75 to 46, and then 45, 45 and a quarter, buy 2. And leaning against 45, I think is a pretty good trade. It is a round number. That's $5 below 50. And somebody will cover their shorts there. Okay, the E-mini. Today's news, if as forecast, would be supportive for the E-mini. The equity markets tend to start in the United States or in London. Asia tends to follow what we do. Asia sold. The FTSE's kind of sideways. It was off a little when I looked early this morning. The DAX and the CAC were up. So kind of mixed stock markets around the globe. That should give us a trading range. But the news, if as forecast, would be supportive. So personal income up 0.3. Just to remind you, personal spending, this is where the first reaction will be up 0.2. Comes in higher than forecast, market can rally. Comes in lower, can sell. PCE, inflation can play a role because it's part of the Fed. This number could come in higher than forecast. Market PMI, manufacturing. And this one's kind of been all over. It's tended to run a little higher than the ISM index, 53.8. ISM, which will be the second news focus, 53.7. Pretty much the same numbers. Although PMI is out 15 minutes before the ISM construction spending, +0.6. One service is carrying it +8. And auto and trucks at 17.2, which is a strong market. So personal spending, ISM, auto and truck sales, and this isn't out till noon. ISM at 10 Eastern, 8:30 Eastern for personal spending. So where are we right now? Resistance is 2100, 2102, then 2110. So I would say stops above the overnight session are a possibility. So I'm guessing that even with this news as expected, 2105.10 is resistance. We might have to engage the market at 2100. I don't know where the news is, but we'll assume that the news is positive. Sell 1 4 to 6, sell 2 9 to 11. On the buy side, 90.92, and then 85 plus or minus. So we really are down to the news. We'll adjust those figures quickly after the news hits. That's all I have. It'll take probably 20 minutes to get everything up and posted. I'll be back with you as soon as I can, and we'll be back comment on the first round of news releases in a bit.